Hi, I'm Cynthia Nixon. A lot of you have been asking about my position on marijuana, so here it is.
Oh, this should be good. So actress Cynthia Nixon is running for governor of the state of New York. You may remember her as Miranda Hobbs from Sex and the City. Now, before we start, I need to address the poor production value of her video.
Hi, I'm Cynthia Nixon.
Yep, that's a car honking. She's an actress who can't figure out how to wear a microphone or close a window to reduce background noise. Anyway, Nixon has a history of advocating for public school funding and LGBT rights. While that experience is better suited for a city council seat, she's an actor turned politician, so that makes her uniquely qualified to run the 12th largest economy in the world, right?
Maybe not. I don't know if I believe all that.
Now, while I like her platform of not being this guy, I'm not entirely convinced. So let's see what she thinks about making cannabis legal.
I believe it's time for New York to follow the lead of 8 other states and DC and legalize recreational marijuana. There are a lot of good reasons for legalizing marijuana.
And there are a lot of good reasons for not legalizing marijuana. For example, in states where recreational marijuana has been legalized, there's been an increase in arrests of driving under the influence of marijuana. Drivers who use marijuana are more than twice as likely to have a car crash. Marijuana can also negatively affect productivity. Regular use compromises the ability to learn, focus, and remember information. The Department of Labor has found that drug users in general are absent from work more, cause more on-the-job accidents, and are more likely to steal from a company or other employees. And in states like Colorado and Washington, where recreational use is legal, marijuana use is up among teens. Because of its impact on the brain, marijuana use potentially doubles the risk of developing psychotic disorders like schizophrenia for those already prone to them. I'll stop right there for now, but I'm sure that Miss Nixon has some well-researched facts on why weed should be legal, right?
We have to stop putting people of color in jail for something that white people do with impunity.
First of all, recreational marijuana is currently illegal in New York State. And the penalty for smoking weed in public will get you 90 days in jail and a $250 fine. If you don't want to go to jail, don't break the law.
80% of the New Yorkers who are arrested for marijuana are Black or Latino.
In New York City during 2017, 86% of people arrested for marijuana possession in the 5th degree were people of color. 48% were Black, 38% were Hispanic, and 9% were white.
80% of the New Yorkers who are arrested for marijuana are Black or Latino, despite the fact that whites and people of color use marijuana at roughly the same rates.
Oh yeah, I gotta love that white privilege. Oh wait, no it's not. According to this New York Times article, researchers have found that African Americans are more likely than whites to smoke outside in public, thereby attracting attention of the police. Which makes sense, because according to the NYPD, there were 17,500 arrests for marijuana in 2017, and nearly 90% of those arrests were for smoking marijuana in public. Some of these arrests are attributed to the fact that for those who live in public housing, there really isn't an option to smoke weed anywhere else. But somehow, if you don't let certain people get their smoke on, it's institutional racism.
The consequences follow people for the rest of their lives, making it harder to get jobs or housing.
I know it's a crazy concept, but instead of committing a crime, getting caught, going to jail, having a conviction on your record, and crying racism when you can't get a job or housing, go back to step 1 and don't commit that crime, especially one as stupid as smoking weed in public.
And for non-citizens, putting them in the crosshairs for deportation.
What is it with these so-called politicians trying to protect illegal immigrants? They can't vote for you, Cynthia. Oh wait, maybe they can.
Regulating and taxing marijuana would generate hundreds of millions of dollars of tax revenue for our people and create important agricultural opportunities for our state.
Because of health risks involved with tobacco smoking, there has been a huge push in both New York State and New York City to get people to quit. One of the reasons is that annual healthcare costs in New York, directly caused by smoking, are over $8 billion. Medicaid costs caused by smoking are nearly $5.5 billion. Now let's add marijuana to the equation. Since smoking weed dramatically raises the risk of getting cancer, including lung and testicular cancer, that means healthcare costs to the state could potentially increase in the long term. Let's be conservative and say healthcare costs only go up $1 billion a year. The estimated $500 million tax revenue for marijuana won't even begin to cover these extra healthcare costs. So if you think the tax revenue from weed is really going to help fund your school budgets and fix your subways, you're fucking dreaming.
In 2018, in a blue state like New York, marijuana shouldn't even be an issue. If there was more political courage coming out of Albany, we would have done this already.
That's tough talk, but Governor Cuomo has already assembled a panel looking into legalizing weed, and in recent months, he has softened on the idea of recreational weed.
If it was legalized in Jersey and it was legal in Massachusetts and the federal government allowed it to go ahead. But this is an important topic. It's a hotly debated topic, pardon the pun, and it'd be nice to have some facts in the middle of the debate.
The simple truth is, for white people, the use of marijuana has effectively been legal for a long time. Isn't it time we legalize it for everybody else?
In the 9 states and Washington, D.C. where recreational pot is legal, it is still illegal to smoke marijuana in public view. And it will be illegal in New York State, which means legalizing recreational marijuana isn't going to stop black and brown people from getting arrested for smoking marijuana in public. Want proof? Oh look, in Washington, D.C. where recreational marijuana is legal, arrests for public marijuana consumption have gone up. Let's be honest, no one would give a damn about this woman if she didn't play Miranda on Sex and the City. And what the fuck is this?
Governor, put your feet on those feet and twirl them around. Nice pair of slingbacks.
And pieces like this are not going to help her get elected. That means that there have been 28 states that have had women governors. That's more than half. What does the sex of the candidate have to do with anything? Or is there some quota I don't know about?
I think that female voices have been so diminished by our political process.
Research shows that when women run for public office, they are just as likely as men to be elected. The main reason that they are so underrepresented is that they don't run in the first place. All women have to do is have the confidence to run. So much for blaming the patriarchy. The voting public doesn't care about the sex of the candidate. In primaries, they vote for the person they think is most qualified or aligns with their values. And in general elections, voters cast their ballots down party lines, regardless of the sex of the candidate. As for Cynthia Nixon, to win, she needs to do 2 things. 1, convince voters that she's qualified for the position, which is debatable. And 2, convince voters that if Governor Cuomo wins a 3rd term, that he will be spending the majority of that term focusing on running for president in 2020, putting personal ambitions over doing what New Yorkers elected him to do.
I think there's a lot of reasons we should legalize marijuana here.
Or just keep talking about marijuana, whatever.
If you're a person of color, you're 10 times more likely to be arrested for marijuana than if you're white. It's a racial justice issue.
White people make up 61% of New York State's population, so keep talking about racial justice and inequity, because white guilt is exactly what brings white voters to the polls. Thank you all so much for watching, and be sure to like and subscribe. And if you're new to the channel, check out some of my other videos. And I hope to see all of you next time.